Could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning!
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Finally over, folks. Finally. The slow, painful death that has been this San Francisco Giants season for the better part of a month or so now. It's finally over. Giants take a 4-0 loss last night in a game that felt like emblematic of the games they've been playing the last, I don't know. How long has it been since the trade deadline? Month and a half? 2 months? Thank you, Sam. Sam Lubman, ladies and gentlemen. Garlic fries and baseball, guys. He's getting after it. Him and Shasky. I was talking to him, and if you've been following along all week, Sam has been nice enough to be giving me a ride this morning, so we talk about all things, and he was listening to a Giants pod when I got into the car this morning, and I was listening to it. It was Baggerly and Brisby via the Athletic. Don't know the exact name. Apologies. I'm not a big podcaster in the car kind of a guy, but Sam, obviously, single, doesn't have to play Coco Melon for, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. Sorry, Benjamin. Don't want to cut you any slack. And a almost a 1-year-old and 11-month-old. So he doesn't have to do that. So I appreciate it. So it's interesting to listen to different perspectives from the guys that actually cover the team all season long. Obviously, Andy Baggerly has been doing it at an elite level for The Athletic. And obviously, Grant Brisby does it kind of a fan perspective via The Athletic as well. Both do a great job. And I was kind of listening to them, just talk about like the positives and heading into next season and, second base. I think they're fine at second base. Thairo Estrada. And I just found myself being like, oh my God. This is where we're at. We're talking about positives heading into next season. And the one positive it felt like they were agreeing on was Thairo Estrada at second base. Yeah, maybe Luciano. Yeah, he showed some stuff at short. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Kyle Harrison, we'll see. You got Logan Webb, Camilo Doval, Thairo Estrada, and that's all I can really count on hanging in next season. Again, if you're just joining us, Padres 4, Giants nothing. They've been eliminated, essentially. There's a bunch of tiebreaker scenarios, and I don't think the Giants win any of them against the Chicago Cubs. Maybe they give us like the 5 or 6 or whatever, but that's not going to happen. So they're done. Season's over. And all I could find myself feeling was just, And that sucks. And I feel like that's a lot of the fan base. Just, They didn't invest in the team. What did you expect? Well, I expected, I guess to be in playoff contention all the way up into the final week. And that's kind of what they were. But they really haven't been playing like a playoff team for 2 months. It was disappointing. They started off, okay, all right. Got action here. And it feels like they're back at square one where they were last season. At least last year you had, they were expected to fall back down to earth. They had an amazing 107-win season. It was awesome. It was fantastic. I don't think they'll replicate that again. But if they stay healthy, why can't they win 90 games? Well, they couldn't stay healthy, and they didn't, and they finished 500. Okay, they'll be healthier this year. They shored up, the starting pitching. We'll see about the bullpen, yada, yada. And for, the first few months, it was okay. And the question marks actually weren't about the bullpen. The bullpen was a strength. It was the starting pitching that was the problem. And then the starting pitching, and that turned out to be okay. And then it was the bullpen was the problem. And then the offense. And then it was just everything all at once. Everything everywhere all at once. There you go. Shout out the Oscars. And it culminated in the final 2 months. And now we're left with the team that's behind the San Diego Padres. A team that has been wildly disappointing all season long. This is a major disappointment for the San Diego Padres. And look at them. They're already ahead of you. Their season's probably going to be over after today as well. Both the Giants and them 4.5 games back. You got the Phillies, obviously, with the clinch on the first wild card. You got the Diamondbacks with a dub yesterday. Chicago Cubs, yikes. Seiya Suzuki, what are you doing? Woof. My goodness. One of the worst errors I've seen in quite some time, but is what it is. Cubs still clinging to a half-game lead over the Miami Marlins for that final wild card spot. Marlins idle yesterday. I think they'll have a doubleheader today against the Mets, I'm pretty sure. And then you got Cincinnati, 1.5 back coming up through. Ellie De La Cruz doing what he does. 2 jacks yesterday again? Man. So, Giants season over. What say you, Giants fans? How we feeling? Major changes on the horizon? Farhan, Kapler, do they got to go? Does this organization need to get turned around? Something needs to change? Something needs to change. That's obvious. Logan Webb, your ace, said that 2 days ago after the game. Even after a win, he said, I'm tired of losing. When your players and your stars and studs in your team after wins are still being like, yeah, I'm tired of this. You got major problems. And I thought Sean Estes on the postgame yesterday for NBC Sports Bay Area, and Sean Estes, obviously former pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, but doing a hell of a job as a broadcaster, filling in for play-by-play at times on NBC Sports Bay Area. I thought he summed it up pretty well with Laura Britt and Carlos Ramirez yesterday. Take a listen.
I feel like this team just got a little comfortable and complacent with losing. They created a culture and an atmosphere in this clubhouse where it's okay. And that's not okay. It really is. Winning is everything. Jobs depend on winning. Fans deserve that. A team that goes out there and plays hard every day. The fans deserve it. The ownership deserve it. They're the ones writing your checks. The coaches deserve it. The manager deserves it because the coaches and the manager are the ones that are putting in the hours. They're there way before the players get there, and they're the ones that are there after the players get there. So you go out there and you play hard, not just for them, not just for your teammates, not just for ownership, but for the fans. And right now, it's a product that the fans aren't happy with, and it's a team that, to me, got very complacent.
And that's the worst thing you can say top to bottom about an organization is complacency, and complacency with mediocrity. Like, it's one thing to, have the status quo and you're actually like winning 90 plus games. And then obviously that usually rears its ugly head come playoff time. But to not show any emotion, to not be fiery, to be okay, whatever. We lost, but let's go play some cards. Let's bump some music. It's fine. No, it's not fine. It's not. And if you're a fan of this, and we saw what the reports was what was it? The 17th, the 20th in attendance, whatever it was, Sammy. Giants fans have not been showing up. Because they know what good products are. They saw it the early part of last decade. And this, the platooning, the lack of star power, not knowing who's going to be playing half the time, not knowing anyone in the starting lineup other than, Brandon Crawford, who's probably going to have his final at bat this upcoming weekend in a San Francisco Giants uniform, at least. It's frustrating. But it got to a point where it's like, if you're a fan, hey, if they're not investing into the product, why should I? And that's when it starts to hurt the Giants' pockets. It starts to hurt the revenue. And then that's the only time you can get sweeping changes. But I don't know. If, the bottom line is the owner's still getting money in his pocket, What changes are really going to come? You see it time in and time out in sports, and especially in baseball. Hell, we're seeing it across the bay constantly. I know John Fisher likes to say, I'm losing money with this organization. If he was losing money, he would have sold a while ago. Billionaires aren't in the business of losing money and just hanging on to stuff that loses them money. That's cap. So what needs to change for the San Francisco Giants? That's going to be something we're going to be talking about all offseason. 888-957-9570. We'll continue to discuss that if you want to. Call or text the Comcast Business text line. And I'd be remiss to not, mention we are live on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Live and up and running. Ring the bell, subscribe, stream us. You know it. You love it. This beautiful mug at 5:10 a.m. And good morning to all of you just getting off work, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, getting ready to do what you got to do on this beautiful Wednesday, this hump day, if you will. I appreciate you. Nicole, Diaz, EJ, Gomez, appreciate y'all chiming in at this hour of the day. Even though for Nicole, she's in Miami. It's 8:10. Oh, that's still early. Not for me. I don't think I've slept into 8 o'clock, by the way, in years. Doesn't happen anymore once you have children. 7 o'clock is sleeping in these days. It's great. It's great. I wanted to shift now to a nice topic. Not the Giants. And is there a more of a polar opposite, if you will, talking about the San Francisco 49ers compared to the San Francisco Giants? Hope, excitement, expectations, accountability, extensions that are good with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch now. And Brian Baldinger joined the Morning Roast yesterday. Brian Baldinger, you know him, you love him. Baldy's breakdowns, he does it better than ever. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Peter King, our 95.7 The Game NFL insider. Joined Willard and Dibbs yesterday as well. But Brock Purdy, I mentioned it on Monday, and I mentioned it again today. It's going to be the story all season long for the San Francisco 49ers. Whether Niner fans want that or not, whether they care or not, he's going to be the story. Because ultimately, he's going to be the difference between winning and losing a Super Bowl. That was why there was so much drama this offseason, because of the quarterback situation. Is Trey Lance going to get a shot? Is Brock Purdy's elbow okay? Sam Darnold, what's going on there? Yada, yada, yada. And you know what? Purdy didn't skip a beat. Picked up right where he left off. He's doing his thing. He's balling. He's doing what he's doing. And for some people, it's enough. For others, it's not. And I came to the realization, and maybe you can say, Spadoni, you're late to this, and maybe this is something we've known now. But not to this degree. I'm seeing Brock Purdy do things that I never saw from Jimmy Garoppolo. As far as the improvisation is concerned, as far as throwing dimes while under pressure, and Jimmy occasionally would do that. He would take the hits. He would stand in that pocket. He would take the shots, and he'd get it to the receivers, to the tight ends. Now, those receivers and tight ends may take 20, 30 seconds to get up off of the field after taking massive shots. Shout out Devontae Adams in Sunday Night Football this past week against the Steelers. George Kittle, amongst others. But Brock Purdy seems like always at the last split second, he's able to flick his wrist, get it to Christian McCaffrey right where it needs to be, in stride, 10, 15 yards, first down, momentum swung all the way back with you on a huge third down. It feels like that happens at least a few times a game with Brock Purdy. And that's the mark of someone that could be really great to me. The pocket presence and the poise. If you don't believe me, just believe Brian Baldinger when he not compares, but says, you know what? Reminds me of a guy named Joe.
Well, obviously, the best that ever did it right there, Joe Montana. He had that. You couldn't rattle him. And I feel like he's got, I'm not comparing him to Joe Montana.
No.
I'm not doing anything like that. But he does have that composure. He does have that poise. And, you see it, Joe, but the people that see it first, if you do rattle guy, is the defensive players. They see it and feel it first. They see it before anybody else. And they'll talk about it on the sidelines. I know certain defensive players, great players, they know when they got their quarterback. They know when the game is in the bag because of what they're doing to the quarterback. I never get the feeling, no matter what, how many shots he takes or a missed throw, whatever, that you ever have that guy. That's a dangerous composition if you're trying to defend it.
I agree. It is a dangerous combination of having that pocket poise and that killer instinct. So it separates the good from great with athletes. We see it time in and time out. And no, much like Brian Baldinger, I'm not comparing him to Joe Montana. He's saying that's what Joe had as well. I'm not comparing him to Michael Jordan, to Drew Brees, to any of these guys. But I do think it's funny how no matter what happens for the rest of Brock Purdy's career, there's always going to be a portion of people. And maybe that's true with everyone. We still got guys hating on LeBron James, one of the greatest players of all time. We still have guys hating on Stephen Curry, one of the greatest players of all time. It happens. It's today's society. You got to get the clicks. You got to have hot takes. I get it all. But no matter what Brock Purdy does, and no matter what any quarterback does, this is what I'm starting to get at. Will they ever be able to leave the shadow that is Kyle Shanahan's offense? Because that's always what I hear when it comes to skeptical fans still on Brock Purdy. And I get it. He hasn't played a full season, so there is room for skepticism still. Absolutely. But just going off what he showed us play-wise, this is the best quarterback outside of Matt Ryan that Kyle Shanahan's ever had. Right? Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay. Got to a Super Bowl. Let's see if Brock Purdy can do that. But the level of play I'm seeing from Brock is the best under Kyle Shanahan since Matt Ryan. Who else out there? Matt Schaub when he was the OC for Houston. Okay. But he's up there. And I just wonder if quarterbacks that haven't established themselves prior to Kyle Shanahan will ever get their just due. I wonder that. And what say you at 888-957-9570? Will Brock Purdy be limited to getting more credit because of the head coach he plays for? I think that's just, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And most fans, like, you know what, who gives a rip? I just want the wins. That's all that matters to me at the end of the day. I want a damn Super Bowl. And can Brock Purdy do that? If he plays like this, he can. He's playing like a top 10 guy. Is he? Play a whole year, then I'm feeling pretty good about putting you in that conversation. But he is playing like a top 10 quarterback right now. I just wonder if he's ever going to get that credit. Peter King talked about this same thing yesterday with Willard and Dibbs, and he said it's kind of a pet peeve of his.
This is my pet peeve this week. Everybody looks at, well, he's done all right, but what? But what? 11 games he's played 3 or more quarters. The 49ers are 11-0, and he's got numbers better than 2/3 in those games, better than 2/3 of the quarterbacks in football. So what do you want exactly out of Brock Purdy? Really, tell me, what do you want out of Brock Purdy? My biggest problem right now with what we do as a sports media, quite honestly, is that we take too long to basically watch the games, see what the games tell us, and then make a judgment. We take way too long to say, hey, wait a second, Brock Purdy was the 272nd pick in the draft, so he can't be very good. Haven't we learned our lesson? Tom Brady, 199, Joe Montana, whatever he was, 86, I forget what he was. Haven't we learned our lesson? Look, it's the same thing right now with Puka Nacua, 177th pick in the draft this year. People can't accept that he's a really good football player because they're myopically looking at the number of pick that he was overall. And I just think, watch the games and make a judgment. Don't make a final judgment on a human being because of the number next to him is a low number in the draft.
See, I don't think people, at least from what I'm gathering, I don't think anyone's doubting Brock Purdy because of his draft status anymore. I think a lot of people have moved past that. Maybe some people, I'm not sure. entirely, but I think for the most part, we've moved on from that. The draft status, the Mr. Irrelevant, it's become of like this ironic thing because clearly he can play and clearly he's pretty good. But it's just, I think it comes back to Kyle Shanahan. And people see the system, see Jimmy Garoppolo get wins, at times saw Nick Mullins get wins, saw what it did with Matt Ryan, getting him an MVP and getting him to the Super Bowl. Now, Matt Ryan, obviously, is a borderline Hall of Famer to me. We had this conversation, I think, a few months ago on the Morning Roast with Matt Ryan. I think Shasky doesn't think as highly of him as maybe myself or Bonte Hill. But there's question marks still there. And a lot of people think he was still a product of Kyle Shanahan at his best. So, will Brock Purdy ever break free from Kyle Shanahan's shadow? 888-957-9570. That's my question this morning. I don't see it happening. If you come up under Kyle Shanahan, I don't think you're going to get the credit. Matt Ryan, he got credit for that MVP season. He did because he had success prior to Kyle Shanahan. See, if a guy came in, let's say Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, I think people would give him credit. They would give Kirk, they would give Matt Stafford credit before giving Kyle Shanahan credit. If you're coming up under Kyle, though, and people have never heard of you, nah, it's Kyle. Yeah. From the 408 on the Comcast Business text line at 888-957-9570. I don't get how Shannon, but it's fine. I understand you're saying Shanahan. I don't get how Shanahan is considered a genius coach. He caught the biggest L in the Super Bowl loss, an historic one. Yeah, he wasn't the head coach 408 when that happened. That was Dan Quinn. He was the OC. How many points did they end up scoring in that game? I mean, they had a 28-3 lead, and the defense couldn't hang on. See, I don't blame Kyle Shanahan for that loss. I don't know why the city of Atlanta does. They wanted a scapegoat. They wanted to blame someone, and the guy that was out the door the next season was the easiest one to blame, I guess, because he wasn't going to stick around. So let's blame Kyle Shanahan. This is stupid, but it was years ago. God, was that 7 years ago already? God, time flies. But let's stop with that. Is he a genius head coach? I'd say he's a innovative offensive mind. I'd say if you look at his coaching tree, it speaks for itself right now. Some of the elite head coaches and offensive minds in the game are associated with him. The Matt LaFleur's, the Sean McVay's, the Mike McDaniel, I don't know, D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh. I understand, defensive, but still his coaching tree. And I'm not putting, obviously, Sean McVay under his tree, but associated with, worked with, his peers. He's got a great, little tree building, though. Little branches building off that thing. So, yes, I think he is thought highly around the league. Ask GMs, ask coaches, ask players, ask the NFL insiders, ask Peter Kings, ask Brian Baldingers, guys that have played. They have tremendous amount of respect for Kyle Shanahan, his work ethic, his offenses. If you want to say he has a problem in the playoffs choking, if you want to use that word, if he gets tight at certain spots, sure, we can have a conversation about that. But he is an elite offensive mind in this game, and there is no arguing that. Go to Pro Football Focus if you want. If you don't want to, just look up his wins and losses. Just look up the amount of NFC Championship games he's been to in recent years. Look what he's at quarterback. At times, not the best. And now what he's doing with elite talent around him, it looks like they're primed to go to at least another NFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl. So I don't think right now is the time to be taking your shots at Kyle Shanahan, who just got extended. Got a nice little pay raise. 925, Comcast Business text line. I don't care how Brock is rated or perceived. I want a Lombardi. I don't care who is at quarterback. Get a ring. It's been 3 decades. And I think that's the overwhelming sentiment from a lot of 49er fans right there. Don't give a rip. Brock, keep doing what you're doing. We'll get to a Super Bowl. And if you keep making the plays you're making right now, I think we'll win one. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. What say you? 888-957-9570. More from the Comcast Business text line. 319. I think that's on Neptune. I haven't heard that zip code. Brock will get his credit in due time. He's shown the ability to make plays off of Kyle's script. And that's going to be another aspect of this. Maybe that's the way Brock breaks free from Kyle's shadow. You know, the improvisation with his legs. More often than not, with the Kyle Shanahan offense, when we saw these guys, let's face it, I don't think Kyle, outside of RG3 in his rookie season, and maybe Kirk, who was a little mobile, and Johnny Manziel, and he's OC in Cleveland, But I think Brock is one of the better athletes Kyle has had at the quarterback position. You know, you think of just his time with San Francisco. Jimmy, post ACL, even prior, not the greatest athlete. He uses his legs a little bit. But Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, Brian Hoyer, Trey Lance, okay. Athletic, big arm, but didn't have that quick burst. The little, just move around in the pocket that I'm seeing from Brock Purdy. So I'm seeing a lot of that. And could that be the thing that puts Brock over the top? And you know what? We see these improvisation, time in and time out, buying that time, that gunslinger mentality to when he makes so much more of those plays outside of the status quo of Kyle Shanahan's. We're finally like, you know what? I finally believe this is Brock Purdy. This is, you know what? He runs this offense now. Will we ever get to that point? We shall see. It's a long season. If he keeps producing like he's producing, making the plays he's making, I think we'll start thinking of Brock Purdy as more than just a figure under Kyle Shanahan. What say you? 888-957-9570. That's the number to get involved. Call or text, and also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Come on back, 95.7 The Game.
Dick Butkus here. I've got a game changer for you. When it comes to creating a winning website, there's only one team I trust. AmericanEagle.com. I've known them for 25 years. In my career, I learned that success isn't just about talent, it's about teamwork. That's what you'll find at AmericanEagle.com. They'll listen to your goals and work with you and handle all your digital properties. They'll ensure your website is user-friendly, responsive, and optimized for search engines. AmericanEagle.com also...
could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. It's a hump day. It's a Wednesday. It's kind of, I was going through my stuff this morning. I was like, what do I want to open with? What am I feeling? Obviously, the Giants, they're getting eliminated. They were done yesterday. Shutout. Seth Lugo. Near shutout. I almost said complete game shutout, which is redundant, as we all know. Nearly pitched a shutout. Josh Hader came in for 1 out. And Josh Hader, by the way, I guess he threw a temper tantrum. I don't know what it was. He didn't want to do a 4-out save the night prior. I was just learning that on Twitter this morning. I'm not following along the Padres on what's going on there, but they asked him about it. I'm not doing 4-out saves. Our season's about to be over. I'm not putting myself in that situation. I was like, wow, okay. Bob Melvin, good luck this offseason. You're going to need it. But I was, going through all my stuff. I was like, what am I going to open with? The Giants, obviously. So we opened with that. Went back to the 49ers. And it always comes back to Brock Purdy. It's going to. Which is hilarious because that guy, and you could say, like, oh, Spadoni, so you're disrespecting him. I was like, I'm not disrespecting him. But there is a level of holy, you-know-what, that Brock Purdy is going to be the guy that leads the 49ers to a Super Bowl when you got the plethora of weapons around him and the names surrounding this guy. It's pretty remarkable. And I just took a step back, and you know what? I know it's heading into week 4 now, so it's relax. I'm not going to, because this is pretty freaking amazing what's going on. I said it last year while it was happening. I'm saying it now. Brock Purdy being that dude when you got Christian McCaffrey, you got George Kittle, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got Deebo Samuel, you got Trent Williams, you got Nick Bosa, you got Fred Warner, you got Talanoa Hufanga, you got Kyle Shanahan, and it all coming down to Brock Purdy. Like, again, Disneyland type stuff. I was just there. It's the stuff of legends. Good morning to all of you on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First Norcross Credit Union. Good morning to Josephine. I can't pronounce your last name, but good morning to you. Iwin Lapid. Good morning, Luis Robertson. Good morning to all of you just waking up, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, doing what you got to do. Brock Purdy mania, man. It's here. It's going to stay for the foreseeable future, barring anything that we don't want to see with injuries and other things. I don't want Sam Darnold coming in here. I know Bonte and I were talking a few months ago in the dog days. Could Sam Darnold beat Jim Plunkett? I don't want that to happen. I want Brock to succeed. Because it's a fun story. Who doesn't like an underdog? Well, as we're finding out, a lot of people. Even though it feels like America more than anywhere else, we love an underdog. But as soon as they start winning a little too much, I don't like that. Right? You're seeing it kind of with Deion Sanders, who, by the way, is on my TV right now. But you're seeing it with him. Oh, Deion, this is awesome. He's coming into the Pac-12, coming from Jackson State. This is awesome. Oh, wow, he upset TCU. Oh, my goodness, he beat Nebraska. Oh, wow, too much. Actually, you know what? That's too much success, Deion. I'm going to need you to, pump the brakes a little bit. It's a little, now you're a little too loud. Now, actually, now you're a little too boisterous. I don't like it. Success is fleeting. Enjoy it. Don't be a hater. Now, Deion has all the antics, stuff like that. Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy started talking like Deion, maybe he would get some more of that hate. But my overarching point still stands. The more you win, the more haters come out, no matter what. Taylor Swift, going back to Taylor, the haters going to hate. I hate that I made that reference. Now I hate myself. I'm doing Taylor Swift lyrics at 5:36 a.m. I'm sorry to all of you. That's where we're at in society. The amount of Taylor Swift memes I've seen this week, it's nauseating. I want to throw up. And I'm feeding into it now. The mainstream media, don't become part of it, Joey. Don't do it. Now I'm talking to myself in third person. 408, Comcast Business Text Line. Purdy has all those guys that make him look great. When they lose the good quarterbacks, when they lose their wide receivers, they start declining till someone replaces them. I don't know what you're trying to say there, 408. I think you're trying to say all the compliments around him make him look better than he actually is. And that might be the case, but I can only go off what he has shown me. And there is still part of the quarterback, getting the ball at the right spot at the right moment, especially in the Kyle Shanahan offense. There is something to be said about that. Getting to these balls to these guys in stride. That's not easy. You have to get it in these playmakers' hands. And time in and time out in the NFL, we have seen quarterbacks even struggle to do that. The bare minimum. Hell, Zach Wilson. Guy has no confidence. You see him? You watch any Jets this year? Yikes. Haven't seen that with Brock. I get it. Offensive line different. Head coaching different. He's got weapons. Right? He's got weapons around him. Garrett Wilson amongst others. Dalvin Cook. So it's not easy, regardless of talent around you. And again, we're doing everything we can to, say what he's doing is actually not that special. We're going out of our way to say what Brock Purdy is doing is, let's see him do that. The goalposts will keep getting moved forward until it's winning the Super Bowl. And you know what? After he wins the Super Bowl, or if he wins the Super Bowl, you know what it'll be? Do it again. No, that was Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, Christian McCaffrey should have been the Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, it should have been George. Well, haters will always be there. Hell, Tom Brady, still getting hated. Guy's retired. Yeah. Let's see if he played Montana's day. We'd have gotten his ass kicked. He could have done what Joe did. Even though, first part of his career, there were the same rules. You see the guys getting murdered. The guy he took over for, Drew Bledsoe, you remember that hit? Yeah. They were still hitting like that when Tom was winning 3 Super Bowls. Now, was he the quarterback he was, 15 years later? No. Things change. People evolve. Offenses, the league, yada, yada, yada. There will be a point where Brock Purdy has to evolve as well. Right now, looks like Kyle Shanahan and this offense is a step ahead of everyone else. Have they played a quote-unquote elite defense yet? No. That's coming. Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if they're truly elite like they were with Diggs in a few weeks here, but that's going to be a test. Will he pass it? Pass it against him in the playoffs. Don't see why he couldn't do it the following week. Well. We're just going to keep moving the goalposts further and further for this guy. And I don't know if he can ever get out of Kyle Shanahan's shadow, but you know what? Can't wait to see him try to do it. Can't wait. 888-957-9570. That's the number. 408. Spadoni, don't do the Taylor Swift this morning. I love you, but please don't. I just made one comp. The haters going to hate. It is true. That's what they do. We get a lot of them here at the station. That's fine. I love the haters and I love the lovers because you know what? Provide content. And I get it. He's polarizing. The quarterback position for the San Francisco 49ers is polarizing regardless of the name on the back of the jersey. Hell, Nick Mullins was polarizing. Nick freaking Mullins. We spent countless hours at this station talking about him and Jimmy Garoppolo and CJ Beathard and Brian Hoyer and Blaine Gabbert. And we're going out of our way to say what Brock Purdy can't be, when all he has shown is to be a pretty damn good quarterback. I'm going to ask Joe Shasky about his thoughts on this on the other side, his thoughts on the Giants season ending, all that coming up next with the crossover. I want your thoughts as well at 888-957-9570. And keep them coming on Twitch and YouTube. All those comments powered by First NorCal Credit Union. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, come on back because the haters will hate. Hate.
During Jeep Adventure Days, get $11,000 in lease support on the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4xE. $11,000 lease support includes cash allowances and $7,500 federal EV incentive provided by lender as a capitalized cost reduction and is subject to change without notice. Lessees cannot claim federal tax credit on their personal tax return. Please confirm this information to ensure its accuracy and availability. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. Not all lessees will qualify.
There's a moratorium on show meetings, though, this week, guys. I don't know if you saw the email. No show meetings this week. That's all right.
What about meetings on the mound?
Brevia?
What the hell was that?
Joe Shasky, crossed overtime. I'm Joe Spadoni, pregame show right now. Giants take a 4-0 L. Seth Lugo, almost a shutout he pitches, but shutout nonetheless, not a complete game.
Could you imagine, like, honestly, season unraveling, you're going to get eliminated mathematically from the playoffs, and Eddie DeBartolo sitting up in the suite, and he's watching Joe Montana or Steve Young, goof off with the head coach in regards to getting removed from a game.
It's pretty wild.
And him finding that cute.
Yeah, but it's quirky, It's funny.
You think Joe Lacob would like it when, like, hey, we're going to pull Draymond out of this game. Let's goof around with it and let's laugh a little.
I've never seen Joe Lacob smile on the sideline once in my life other than winning the championship.
So the Giants want me to take them serious, and they can't even take their playoff chances
Giants
serious?
aren't serious, please. What have the Giants showed you that they're a serious organization this past year?
I don't get it.
Right?
I want your, like, as an A's fan, you probably think Giants fans are spoiled, which is a fair point of view. Give me all of your unfiltered Giants opinions from the green and yellow seats.
Oh, I just think they, as an A's fan, this isn't Spadoni, unbiased Spadoni talk. This is A's fan Spadoni. I would say that they are spoiled. They think more highly of themselves as a fan base than they are actually viewed nationally by a lot of people. I know they go to a lot of games, but I think the self-worth of a lot of Giants fans because of those World Series has been inflated a lot. Now more people have come back down to earth lately.
Yes.
But I think what they did with those World Series gave them a massive, massive amount of self-worth that really isn't there in the national media. They don't care about the San Francisco Giants. When have they ever cared about the San Francisco? Even when they were winning World Series, the national media did not give a rip about the San Francisco Giants. Every single time they were in a World Series, the Royals, the Tigers. I know Giants fans don't care because they won the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think it actually still kind of bothered them that the national media still never really truly cared. Outside of Buster Posey having some, Toyota commercials.
Yeah.
No one knew who anyone was. And they were local.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. No one cares. So, as an A's fan, I say, you know what, Giants? Sure. Congratulations. You're the top dog here in Northern California because we have an inept ownership group that doesn't have the balls to do anything about challenging you guys. So, yes, that's what my A's fan perspective is. Now, just talking about this Giants organization, this tenure right now, I'm bored. It's just boring. At least when I was another A's fan, like, it was fun to watch the A's and Giants in the early 2010s because they were both good.
Yeah.
Now it's just depressing. Like, Evan Giddings was like, when was the last time Bay Area baseball was this awful? Like, this has been bad this year. Like, just not, like, fun either.
1992.
Yes.
Was the answer that I would give.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah.
It's been horrible to watch.
Giants had 1 foot out the door.
And you know what's sad? This has been an awesome baseball season.
No, it's been incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, all the different stolen bases.
Yeah.
All the numbers are up.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch.
There are mega superstars.
Yes. And the Bay Area is just, what?
So now
outside of the A's controversy, that's the only thing people care about nationally is that the A's going to Las Vegas. That's it.
So, like, the Warrior brand, everyone would say right now, is a top-tier brand in the NBA.
In sports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yes, within the NBA, right? No one is sitting here saying that we know for a fact it's sustainable beyond the Steph years for now. Like, we're reserving judgment, right?
Yeah, no one knows.
But we would all agree, at minimum, moving forward, I mean, things can change. But for the next 5 to 10 years, they're in that second tier. At minimum, it would be Lakers Celtics brands, right? And then whatever combination of what you would think to be that next tier.
Miami. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Miami and the Warriors are, since the 2000s, 2 of the most successful franchises in the NBA. And whoever else you want to throw in there, right? When I look at the NFL, I think the Niners are a top-tier brand. I think New England went from a top-tier brand. Now they're in that second, going to be in that third tier.
They're going back down to earth.
Now, they still have a ton of fans because of the 25-year run.
Yes.
But, like, they're going down, right?
They're going to be what Chicago Bulls fans are now.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah. Good call. It's Yankees. It's Red Sox. It's Dodgers.
Yeah.
In Major League Baseball.
That's about it.
Okay?
Yeah.
Second tier. Cards. Cubs.
Yeah.
Giants?
Historically, you'd want to say yes because of their impact and players, but I don't think they get that kind of coverage, right?
Well, that's why I'm asking.
I don't. Right now, no. They're like a third tier.
But if
they're
they operated like a big boy,
I'm putting the Texas Rangers over them. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that is crazy.
I mean, they got the new stadium. They're going out. They're trying to get flashy players. They got good players. They got Bruce Bochy now.
The Braves are now in that second tier.
Yes, Braves are up there.
I
yes.
think that they're marquee. They were on the fringe of the first tier back when we didn't have cable the way we do now, and TNT and TBS would have all the Braves games.
I remember watching a lot of Chipper Jones.
Right,
as a kid.
you know what I mean? Like
yes.
90s. I'm talking 90s,
Yeah.
right? I think they really benefited from that. It had a lull, but now it seems to be back.
Yes.
Why can't the Giants be in that second tier?
Because they don't have stars. They need this. They need like that. Like that's it. Like, and this brand of baseball is just not fun. Like, say what you will about the whole Moneyball aspect and stuff like that. The Giants have taken that and almost kind of making a mockery out of it. I don't think this was what Billy Beane intended. Moneyball was because they didn't have money financially and they had to go out and find bargain hunting. And you know what? They got lucky. They caught lightning in a bottle and it was awesome. But that was also coupled with some amazing drafts, right? Like you look back to the 2010s, where's the Josh Donaldson for the San Francisco Giants right now? Right?
Thank you.
Where's like I got my Sean Doolittle and Camilo Doval.
Where's my Sonny Gray?
Where's my Sonny Gray? Right? Like, and at least Bartolo Colon.
I know.
I got those guys like those.
Frank Thomas here.
Like those guys. Like were supposed to be what Farhan was going. Like, get me some of those guys. Where at the very least they couldn't give me that. So that's what I think is most frustrating for Giants fans. Like, hey, we got the salary, plus we're getting that money ball. We're gonna have the money to keep the Josh Donaldsons of the world, right? We're gonna have the money to extend the Josh Reddick types, like those guys. They can't even get a Josh Reddick.
I know.
It's pretty wild.
Niner fans right now, they're like, oh, Patrick Surtain, we'll take him, right? So, for example, like they're already trying to gobble onto any player. Why Denver would trade them
that would make zero sense. Yeah.
Makes zero. But nonetheless, CMC's available. We'll take him in a heartbeat, right? We're trying to add to this. Warriors, you're going to hear them linked to every single player.
Yeah.
If Giannis is available, will they not be linked to him?
Absolutely.
Right?
Every single major team will be linked to Giannis that if he becomes available. Yes.
This offseason will be a huge indicator if they stay on pat with Farhan and Gabe Kapler. Let's just say they stay on pat. Francisco Lindor could be on the move. Pete Alonso could be on the move. Juan Soto could be on the move. Luis Robert Jr. could be on the move. Will the Giants legitimately be linked to any of those people?
They're going to need to trade for one of those guys.
What?
They're going to need to trade for someone. They're not coming here willingly.
No. These are all trade partners.
Okay,
I'm talking about.
okay,
but
yeah.
like,
I didn't know if Soto, does he have one more year after this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all
but
right.
like the point I'm getting at is like when we bring up the Warriors, all the teams on the other end, you don't even have to be like, why would they want to come here? It's like kind of known, like, well, to win a championship and play with Steph Curry.
That's it.
Yeah, right? Like, why would Patrick Surtain want to come here? Why would CMC want to come here? To win a championship and to play with Kyle Shanahan.
To be on the best team, 1A or 1B in the NFC. It's like them and the Eagles. That's it.
I'm just going to pick one. Pete Alonso. Why would Pete Alonso want to come here? You're not going to win at the highest level.
No.
You're definitely not going to have the most offensive production that you're going to have. You're going to get crushed in taxes, and I'm not sure that they're going to pay me top dollar that I'm looking for.
Also, his player profile will go down exponentially going from the Mets to the Giants. He is Mr. Met out there. Like he is
100%.
It's him and Aaron Judge out there, kind of. Yes.
So, like, to me, there's this huge disconnect where the Giants internally believe that they're at, and then the reality of where they're truly at.
So you mean to tell me they're not getting Shohei Ohtani this offseason? Hey, they're up there in all the betting stuff, Joe. Come on.
It's the most depreciated. I think their product. You could say the Knicks, and I'll listen to that. But if you're like brands in sports, they're one of the most depreciated brands in sports. And if someone came in and bought them and made swashbuckling moves, I think their status could be elevated. You are sitting on a sleeping giant of money if you took over the Giants.
I wonder what the next move is because the ownership sounds like they're doing at least one more year of Farhan. Should they? Do you, as a fan right now, Joe Shasky, do you want everyone gone right now?
Absolutely.
It's not even a thought, right?
If I gave you 5 years to fix my clothing department or whatever. Like you work at Nordstrom's, right? Like and you've
had one good
wildly
sales
mediocre,
one
and not
good sales
profitable.
year. Yeah.
I'd be like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Name me honest to God, name me a business in America that is giving someone a 5-year runway to not make money.
It's pretty wild. Now, the owner's still making some money, but they could be making a lot more.
They've lost 27% of their gate revenue.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. It's wild. And it's just, I don't understand why. It just goes back. No. It just honestly, for the San Francisco Giants, it just goes back to what were you looking for with Farhan? I don't know what Farhan, is this what he signed up for? Like, I don't know if Farhan went into this like, this is what I want. I want Jock Peterson to be out there platooning. I want the John Brebbias of the world. I know Kyle Harrison got sick. I know that wasn't in the fourth, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Joey,
the platooning of the bullpen.
Joey,
I want bullpenning.
Here's the problem with Farhan.
This was it.
Here's the problem with Farhan. Last night, Kruk and Kipe go, well, we talked with Farhan and we sat down and he said Tyler Fitzgerald could be our what's the guy Taylor? Come on,
Chris
Taylor for the Dodgers. And I go, Chris Taylor only works when you have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Who are your Mookie Betts and your Freddie? You have been trying to replicate with the we're going to find our next, who was the third base? Justin Turner. We're going to find the next Justin Turner. It only works when you have a Seager or when you have a Bellinger or when you trade for a Mookie Betts or you sign a Freddie Freeman. Stop emulating something. Imagine, like, that's like a team going out there, like right now, the pick an NBA team. What's like a mediocre NBA team? Atlanta Hawks.
There you go.
We're trying to find our Sean Livingston. No, you should be trying to find Steph Curry.
Yes. Charlotte Hornets. Yeah. Come on. You need a running mate with LaMelo Ball. I don't need you to be getting Ish Smith.
We need an Andrew Bogut.
Stop. It's just.
Do you get where I'm going?
No, that's exactly. No, I totally agree.
You know what we need?
Like the Warriors are in a position to get a guy like a Dwight Howard. Like they could be like, he's our end of the bench rotation guy, and people are freaking out.
D'Amico Ryan's taking over the Texans. We don't look for a franchise quarterback. We're looking for the next Kyle Juszczyk.
It's just
right.
It's just. It's true. It's true. It's just I don't understand where they're going, and I don't understand what the purpose of bringing Farhan back is if you're going to have the same thing you had the last 2 years, because that's definitely what's going to happen unless they trade for 3 huge stars at the very least. I don't think people.
How about you just trade for one person that we like? How about that?
And that's asking forever. It's asking everything. That's Joe Shasky. Bontiel coming up next. We'll talk some Giants. I know you guys are going to get into a lot of Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49ers. That's a fun team that you actually want to talk about and listen about. That's coming up next right here on the pregame show. No, not on the pregame show. It was Morning